on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You have all purchased, who has not yet purchased their drafting supplies? Right? What are you waiting on, slackers? Come on, you're going to want to get started. You have purchased, or will soon purchase. Remember, if you can't find paper, all of your classmates have it. Remember, if you have paper and they don't, scarcity drives up the price. Okay? You could probably get $2 a sheet for it. You can get $5 a sheet for it on midnight the day before it's due. All right, so just remember that. You invested early, so make them suffer for not having purchased their paper. So, first question, Stone, how do I turn an 11 by 17 into an 8.5 by 11? Through math. If I fold an 11 by 17 piece of paper in half, it becomes, anyone? 8.5 by 11, right? So, the multiple ways you can do this, crease and tear, right? Crease it really good, tear it. There is a paper cutter over in the theater, right outside of the business office. If you don't know where that is, go up toward the costume shop and then wander around on that floor until you find a paper cutter. It's not a very big floor and it's a very big paper cutter. To do this assignment, you will need a table with a nice square edge. I've been told that the library is good. If you cannot draft in the library and you do not have any square tables anywhere in your vicinity that you can get a hold of, then you can come to the shop and we will cut you a small piece of masonite. And you can take that home and you can draft on it. This is useful. It's particularly useful to have a table that you can leave things taped down on. So don't use your kitchen table if you actually eat dinner at your kitchen table. You don't, though. You're Americans. You eat dinner in front of your television, so use your kitchen table. It will be fine. All right? Questions about how to make a sheet of paper into 8.5 by 11? Also, if you're good with a pocket knife, do that. But I don't have anything on here to cut. Maintenance gets crabby when I put big gouges in the floor with my pocket knife. So. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this out here. About as far as you go? Not quite that far?
Go back that way a little bit.
Probably good catch. All right, then. This over here, slap that there. Move them around. This is a drafting board covered in a vinyl substance called Vico. It's really nice to draft on, but not necessary, okay? It's just soft and self-healing, so you can put pins in it, you can stick it with your compass, and it doesn't get holes in it. So, all right, everybody, stand up. Bring your notebooks or your iPads or whatever you're taking notes with, and come closer.
Yeah. I'm covering it up with my finger because I know that it'll make whoever's looking at it really, really sick.
If you do not understand something, please ask a question.
Excuse me.
Do you want me to repeat something? I will be happy to, okay? Now, the first thing to do, don't store your drafting board. She's already gone. Don't store your drafting board in the shop. The first thing you do, whenever you're using a T-square, constantly pull it tight to this side. All right? A T-square is not straight unless it's pulled in straight. So every time I use my T-square, I pull on it this way with my finger. You won't even see it, but sometimes I'll tap it over here just to make sure it stays straight. Okay? Then straighten your paper to your T-square. Obviously, if the paper's not straight, it's not helping anything, right? Then, take out your drafter's tape. Start with 2 small pieces. And with this thing down and smooth, tape the corners. Okay? Then, it is time to be wasteful of tape in order to save yourself a bunch of tears later. Tape down this edge all the way across. And tape down this edge all the way across. Yes, it uses a lot of tape, but we'll be sliding this T-square up and down the board, and if it catches the edge of your paper and rips your drafting in half, there will be much tears, right? So you don't want that. So now it's nice and straight, okay? Then we're going to dig out our eraser shield. We don't need the compass for this one. We need our pencils. Man, I got a lot of pencils these days. And I think that's probably all we need. Unless, is this a better zone? It does. Then I'll also demonstrate the use of an electrical eraser so that you can find out how awesome they really are. It seems something stupid like electric scissors, but really no, it's so much better. On your electric eraser, you only want a little bit sticking out. All right, now, step 1, identify your pencils. 03. Excuse me. 05. 07. And blue. Doesn't matter what diameter your blue one is. Whichever diameter you could find blue lead in, that's the one you want. Okay, and these guys can go back away.
That was not marked.
Don't either. Gotcha. All right. So now, from the assignment, we will start with the borders. Borders are drawn in thick line weights. That is 07 or 09. The first thing we need to do is figure out where the edges of our paper are. So starting with your blue pencil. Remember, traditionally, because we photocopied these in blueprint mode, anything marked in a blue pencil didn't show up on the copy. So we'll be using our blue pencil that make marks, just to make marks that just show us where to make marks. Okay? I will not grade any drafting that you do in the blue pencil. I used to say I wouldn't grade anything in the blue pencil, but then Hannah Beavers drew a ninja cartoon all over her drafting with the blue pencil, and it got a little silly. So now, but notice here, I'm making little marks. I'm looking through my tape to see exactly where the edge of my paper is. Because now I need to measure 1/2 inch TYP. TYP, we have chalk too. Worst classroom ever. Typical. Meaning the same all around, okay? So we're going to put a 1/2 inch border on here all the way around. We're going to need to measure. One edge of your scale rule is just a standard ruler, and that's the one we're going to use mostly for this assignment. This assignment is not to scale, right? Because this isn't anything. This is just practicing making lines in special ways. Whenever you measure, you cannot just slap your ruler on there, because the ruler will be tipped a little bit, and then it won't measure accurately. Layout on this is absolutely key. If you get these rectangles drawn the right size, everything else will be significantly easier. If you screw up these rectangles, none of your things will look right. Okay, so measure carefully. So first, we go from that little blue line at the edge of the paper, we move in 1/2 inch. From the other edge of the paper, again, I'm pulling my T-square this way. I go 1/2 inch. Okay, then I need to go vertical. Time to stack tools on tools. We do this all the time. Okay. So the T-square is square, the triangle's lined up there, and the ruler's on the triangle. 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. Apologies. No, we're not in trouble. It's just my cousin. Okay. Then we're going to switch to our thick pencil, 07 or 09. We're going to draw those lines in. Now you can see where having a see-through triangles is so helpful. It's easy to line them up. Then I can just draw straight with the T-square. And again, having a see-through edge on your T-square is very helpful. We're trying to make our lines in one smooth stroke. See how nice and even my hand is on that line? It's the same everywhere. That's because I went one smooth, confident stroke. If you do it this way instead, your lines will look bad. Right? Okay, for a given value of the term bad. Sorry, my hand's trained, kind of. All right, so there we got our 1/2 inch border. Then we come up 3/8 inch. If you cannot read 3/8 inch on a ruler, please come in and get extra tutelage. You don't need to admit it in front of people. I will be happy to teach you how to read 3/8 on a ruler. 1, 2, 3. Make a little mark. Okay? And there we go. Our border is drawn. But Stone, you didn't line up your corners perfectly. No, because I'm in a hurry. And I have an eraser shield. Take your eraser shield, slap it exactly there, and go. That's what it's for. Or take your electric eraser and go. Get it? Neaten up all your corners. Again, for expediency, I am not always going to neaten up all my lines, but you have to, right? You get that? Good. Next step. We need to divide this space here evenly into two spaces. Okay, well, let's try the power of measuring. If we measure this, when we look at it, it says that it's 7 1/16 inches. Oh, that's aggravating. I'm not going to split 7 1/16 inches, because then I'll be working in 30 seconds, and I'm way too lazy for that. Instead, I'm going to teach you a trick that you will use many times that will blow some of your minds. Okay. Remember when we said, if your ruler's not straight, you won't get an accurate measurement? You can use this to your advantage, if you want to, using the tip the ruler trick. Works like this. If I rotate this ruler around until two numbers that are easily divisible in half are lined up, 0 and 8, 4 is still going to be dead center between those two. It doesn't matter that they're not actually 8 inches apart, because middle is still middle, right? And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I make a little mark at 4, right there, okay? Then I take my t-square, and I draw that across. This is still a border, so we're still in heavy line weight, okay?
Is that 7 or 9?
7 or 9, yes. I use 7 because I think 9 looks like crayons. Now I need to divide it in 3 even spaces this way. Well, if I measure it, it says 10 inches. 10 divided by 3 is 3 1/3. There's no thirds on my ruler, right? So that's not going to work. So again, I'm going to tip the ruler until I get a number that's evenly divisible by 3. Check it out. 0 and 12. What's 12 divided by 3?
4.
Don't get confused that the answer was 4 twice in a row. That's just coincidence, okay? So I make a little mark here at 4, and one here at 8. Then I come in with my 07. T-square's tight, triangle's tight, and I go, whoops. I actually wanted to extend that one a little bit further than I just did, but that's okay. We have erasers. Erasing is a big part of drafting. Now I have 6 even rectangles. Please note they're not squares. This becomes important in a bit. They're not squares, they're rectangles. All right? So, let's do box 1. Box 1 is easy, and whether you know it or not, you actually already know how to do it. You just learned. We need to divide